Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for staying subscribed to me. I haven't posted in a while, and that's just down to the fact that my mum sadly passed away the beginning of March. I know I did have a few messages from people, and I did let them know, and I think there are a couple of people that are subscribed to me that are also subscribed to my sister, and a lot of people in her circles were letting people know as well. So I thought I'd pop on today with something a little bit different, and it may be a trigger for some people, so I'm going to apologise in advance. But what I'm going to do is show you how I made the order of services for my mum's funeral. So I don't like so most people's funerals that I've been to before, you probably just get something you know, like this, something paper, maybe their photo on, and some information about them and the date and everything. I started this with my nan when my nan passed away about 13 years ago, and I made a special order of service for her, and I've been asked to do it a couple of times since, but I did quite a nice one for my mum, I have to say. And a lot of people do ask about them, and I thought it might be something you guys might be interested in. So I'm going to start, obviously I'll just go back to that. So this is just the printed details. So it's got the order of service, the actual way things are going, the prayers. We put some photos in, and then at the back we put some that's the songs again, and then we put some poems that we found that we liked, and then there was also a message from her grandson there, my nephew. So the good thing about this is that you can actually take it as much as you want, so you could really go to town, and you know, if you've got someone that's had a lot of achievements, done a lot of charity or something, and you wanted to put all of those in there, this sort of gives you that opportunity to do that. Whereas a normal order of service might not. Okay, so I'm going to start with a piece of the A4 Crafter's Companion multi-purpose card, and I'm scoring it in half, which I've marked on my board, which is 5 3/4 plus 1 notch. Okay, so just move that one out of the way. Fold that over. Oops. And it will just have a tiny, like, millimeters leading edge, which I quite like. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my trimmer. We'll pop that to the side for a second. And I'm going to bring in a piece of gold memory card. And I'm going to cut this 5 3/4, and if I pop that leg out, it should be 8 2 notches, and I believe that should fit quite nicely. So I've just got the narrow border all the way around that I like. Okay, so then I'm going to take, let's get rid of that for a second. I'm going to take a piece of pearl card. This is the Crafter's Companion one again, and this one I'm going to cut at 5 1/2 across there, and then I'm going to cut that at 4 1/2. Okay. So let's put that one down. Okay, so this top bit, the larger piece, which is the 4 1/2, that one stays as it is, plain. Okay, for this other one I'm going to bring in this old Crafter's Companion Embossalicious folder. For Mum I chose the roses, and what I did was, because I wanted all of them to be the same, so there was quite a few of them, I just put a little arrow where I was popping in my piece of card so that it all of them sort of started with this bit of rose at the top. Just put a bit straighter. These roses at the top and these roses at the bottom. And then just grab my plates. So go in with this one and this one. See how that goes. I might have to put this sheet in if it's not quite there, because it is a 2D folder. Let's have a little look. No, I'm quite happy with that. So you've got that lovely emboss on there. Pop that one out of the way. And the other thing, actually I'll bring those plates back. The other thing I'm going to do while I've got my pearlised card. So I've got this Fluttering by die. So my mum adored butterflies. I don't know, I'm not sure if it's just the fact that she loved them or whether it was just the fact that my nan didn't. But she definitely did like her butterflies a lot. So I did go with the butterfly theme with them. So just on a spare piece of pearlised card, just going to pop a little bit of tape on just to keep that in place. And that through. Quite nicely. There. Now just tuck that out, whack it out. Come on. Oh, here we go. So I've got that one. I'm just going to pop those little bits out. Okay. So that's that little bit of writing done. Okay. So for the assembling of the front, so I'm going to bring back in my folded card and I'm going to grab myself, actually I'm not going to do that yet, I'm going to do these first. So I'm going to take the pearlised one, the plain, first of all. And I'm going to use my favourite all-purpose glue, the alcohol based one. So you know you have to be careful on the edges by the mirror, just so that you don't get that overspill taking the foil off. So that's going to go on like so. And then again with this embossed piece, and this will overlap, so just going to pop that onto there like so. Okay, and then if I grab my small scissors and if I can find the end of this red tape, just going to cut myself two pieces. This is super sticky. There and there, just making sure those don't move. Just give that a burnish down. And then I've got this, it's a shimmery double-faced satin ribbon. It's 3mm. On my nan's one, I did go to 5mm, but this is what I had in already for mum's, so that's the one I used, and it does look quite nice and delicate. So, and all I'm using it for is just to hide that join. There are things that are going to go on top, which will hide things a bit, but I just like that ribbon on there, to be honest with you. So because it's double faced, it doesn't matter what way up I pop it. And then what I'm doing is just popping that over that line and around the back onto that super sticky. That goes on like so. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just pop another bit on there, because I did just go a little bit low down with that red line of tape. Would it be one of my cards if I didn't? Just put that on. There we go. I'm just checking I've got that all nicely lined up. Then all purpose again. There we go. And then just popping that on nice and straight, giving it a good press down all the way around. Okay, so next I'm going to bring in some of this Celebrate ribbon. It's like a gold cord. Now I do prefer, let me just pop this in because I've just ordered some from China. I didn't have any in. This elasticated one, if I'm honest with you, it is a lot better. But I only had these ones in when I did Mum's. It's not elasticated, it is just a pure gold coil. I don't think it says on there, just a wire edge metallic yarn, but it does the trick. So, and I'm going to take one jump ring and just thread that on, and if I pop that inside, just want my jump ring to be on the outside there. And then what I'm going to do is just come across, and let's just give that a little cut. This makes that easier for myself. It's not easier to do it not on video, to be honest with you. But there you go. Okay, so I'm going to go in. I want this to be nice and tight to the edge. And what I'm going to do is just do that in the bow, pull it nice and tight, trim those edges. This jump ring is going to come down a little bit. That will be important later on. Okay, so that's where we're at the moment. Okay, so for the next bit, this little butterfly here, just going to take myself some PVA glue, the tacky glue, just going to pop some all over here. Might just put some on my hand in a minute. Let's just do it that way, it might be a little bit quicker. Just going to pop that over, and that is just going to come in. I'm just putting that top antler, or not antler, antennae, that's what I'm trying to say, to the top. Just popping that down. Just give that a minute to stick. And then what I can do is just trim off those edges. Move those out of the way. Show them what's going on. Right, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue under there. There we go. And then, so that's that bit. Okay, so that will stick down, and that's where we're up to. Okay, so next I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm taking a picture of Mum. So this isn't the best picture of her, I have to be honest, but this is probably the most recent photo that we have of her being her usual happy self. And this is her at the hospital. She always quite enjoyed going to the hospital here, because it's got a little shopping centre there, and she could just be wheeled through all of the shops. There is even like a vegetable stand out the front. So I'm just going to trim this down. Let me just take that white edge off. I did find that rather than put these through my printer, I mean these have been done from a printer, because these are a few extra ones that I had to do just for people who couldn't get to the funeral on the day. They did live stream it, so they just couldn't get here. My uncle, bless him, he's not very well, so we really didn't expect him to be able to get there anyway. So I've cut that to 4, and it's 4 notches under the 4 in length. Now her favourite colour was green. Now these were pre-cut to size, because I had these photo, I took it to a photo printing place. So rather than doing it on my printer, I got them to whip off me a load of copies, and they did slightly enlarge this. So that's why there is that little bit of difference. And I'm just checking that. So that's 3.5 by 4. Bear with me 2 seconds. Yeah, so that was an offcut there, so just bring in a fresh sheet. So we want to go 2 notches above the 4 inches in length, and then that was 3 3/4. So I'm going to go to add another 2 notches on, and that should fit on there quite nicely if I put that the right way around. There we go. And then with the spare piece of gold that we had, which I've popped somewhere. Okay, I know where I've done with it. So here. Okay, so we went 4 and 2 notches on the green, so we're going to go 4 inches and 4 notches, and then we were 3 3/4, so we can go to 4 inches on that one, and then that gold should fit behind there quite nicely, and it does. So let's go ahead and pop that on. So again with the all-purpose, just be careful not to get the all-purpose anywhere on your photograph, because it probably will remove the print. There we go. And then again onto this gold. Onto there. Okay, so I'm going to be using these quite chunky pads. They're probably about 2 millimeters, I think. So I'm raising that up. So normally I wouldn't do this on any other project, but just because a lot of my family that I've had these from my nan and things, they have kept these up permanently because it's nice photos, nice little tribute. So I do want that, you know, definite longevity there. And because I'm using foam pads, and I think these are Pound Shop or, you know, Poundland. I don't know if you have a similar sort of thing in the States. These are super cheap foam pads, and the reason why I'm using these is because these were Mum's, basically. So where possible, I try to use as much of Mum's things as I could, purely because, you know, I thought it was a nice little tribute to her to do it that way. But by putting that little bit of glue on there, that just gives me a little bit of extra security, and I'm, you know, pretty sure that that will stay on here for the life of this. My sister has still got my Nans, and that's still up 13 years. But I would say with my Nans, I did use a lot of paper, and I think on some it has come through, the glue has come through, because obviously glues have changed in 13 years. I'd not long been crafting when I did Nans, and I think the fact that I used a lot of paper did mean that there wasn't that thickness there to absorb the glue behind. So that's why now sorry, excuse me, now when I do it, I do use a lot of cardstock, or even if it's thin, sort of Pound Shop card. Okay, so I'm popping that just straight into the middle there, and that will cross over that ribbon. What I will say is, if you've got a photograph that goes long ways, rather than, this was a portrait one, but if you've got a landscape one, sort of 3.5 by 4 or 4.5, it does fit better on here, I think. But we did manage quite well with this square one. Okay, so the next thing is to do a panel with her information on. Okay, so for this I used a different set of dies. I used Spellbinder dies, and these are Gold Labels 4. Now Gold Labels 4 does have the label die, a separate set, which does mat onto these. It looks lovely, but for me personally, I prefer a much narrower border around it. So I will show you what I did with that in just a second to do that. So I'm just going to grab myself a piece of white card. Okay, so I'm just going to, so what I'm doing is, I'm not going to do the actual information that I did, just, you know, for security reasons, you know, because obviously I wouldn't want anything to happen to her information. So I'm just going to show you on a plain piece, so you will know what it looks like. So I'm going to pop that in, and the beauty of this Labels 4 is that it's got a load of embossing around it, so it's not just a plain shape. You can do just a plain shape and it will look lovely. That's what I did for Nan's, but like I say, for Mum's I wanted something a little bit different. So I'm just going to pop that out, and then ease this out gently. And because the Gemini embosses it so nicely and cuts all these little bits out, it is a little tougher to get out, so just ease it out nice and gently. Okay, so, and that's the piece that I've got. Okay, so the information that I put on here, I'll read it to you without other information. So I put in I printed just onto a normal piece of card, a celebration of the life of, and then I had her name, slightly bigger writing, her date of birth and the date of death, and then underneath on the bottom here I had to be held at, the crematorium, and the date and the time. Okay, so that is that piece there. So like I say, with the Spellbinders set, there is a labels set. Okay, and it will do a border. I didn't like the space because, you know, I like a narrower border. So what I did was I grabbed myself a pen. So let's just grab one of these art liners from Spectrum Noir, and this is exactly the same as if you were cutting it out by hand, but I did use a scan and cut. So I know Spellbinders are very tight with what you can and can't do with their dies, but this was just a project for me. It's not ever a project that I would do to sell. I would do for friends, but I wouldn't sell them because it just costs too much money to make, really. So I just went around the edge like so, and it does help if you actually tape it down, which I'm not doing now, but just to make sure it stays completely in the right space, and all the way around, and you get that. Okay, I then scan that into my scan and cut. And then what it did was cut me out the shape. Okay, and then you can see when I put that on there, I've just got the narrowest little border on there. Okay, like I say, Spellbinders are very tight with, not tight, but you know, you have to be really careful about what you're doing with their dies, and absolutely I do appreciate that. But for me, this was just exactly the same as if I had drawn around it myself and then cut it by hand. So it's not something that I'm going to store in my machine, but it was just something to save my hands because I had to do so many. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is I don't think they would let you do that to sell them, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to we'll just pretend that it's got all of Mum's information on there about her funeral. I'm just going to use my Dotty tape pen from Crafter's Companion, just because I'm going to swap this out with a real one, but I want to show you what it looks like when it's done. So that's on like so, and then again with the foam pads, just going to put some glue on the back, put my foam pads over, oops, like I say, these are really very cheap ones, they're very sticky. I think Mum's had them a while, to be fair. I'll leave that in there. Let's pop that onto there and pop that all the way, and then we'll bring this back in. You can see it's really coming together now. Just popping all of these foam pads off. This is the bit that takes the time, especially when you haven't got any nails. Okay, so a bit of glue again. So we want that longevity of it with what we're using it for. And then I'm just going to pop that underneath like so. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is grab a couple of pearls. And I want these ones here, smaller ones, so I'm just going to ease them around to these. I want to go all the way around to these white ones. Alright, and then okay, so what I'm going to do is just in the centre of these roses, just going to put a little blob of glue. And you can go as mad or as sparing. I mean, you don't even have to do this if you don't want to. It's just that on my nans we did have pearls, so I wanted the same for Mum. And you know, always just a little bit of stoning really just elevates the projects a little bit. So I'm just going to pop those on. There's only 5. spaces on there. Depends on what sort of pattern you use. Obviously if you use something with swirls, you would be able to put a lot more in there. So that's that bit done. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is some charms to go on this corner. Okay, so I've got some tools there. Sorry, I didn't have those to hand. So what I got, so obviously like I said, my mum's theme was butterflies and green, so I managed to find these little glitter butterflies on eBay, and I've just basically made a little hook to go on there. I've also got this white mother of pearl heart and this little green mother of pearl cross. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab myself, where's the end of this? So obviously I am not a beader as such, I can do basic things, but that's about it. So what I'm gonna do is just open up my split ring, and my butterfly is going on the bottom. And then I'm going to take another little split ring, open it up, pop it onto there and onto my heart. Actually no, I'm not. I'm going to go another one because I want that to dangle above. So let's just open that up a little bit. This is the things that are so fiddly. This is why I don't do jewellery work very much anymore. It's really hard on my hands. And my eyes are not so good. So the heart goes on there and then into there. So we've got our heart and then our butterfly. I'm just going to do that up, make sure it's nice and tight. I just need another two. So we're going to open that one up again. This is going into this heart. And obviously this is just something that I do as a bit extra. Don't have to do this at all. And then I'm going into there. And I'm going into my cross. No, we're not. We'll go another one up again. This last one. So we've got this loose one here. So we've got our heart on our butterfly that's decided to fly upside down. Then that's going to go into our little cross. And then the super fiddly bit, if I grab my other little pliers. This is why I say it's fiddly. So into there, into there. So again, we've got our cross, we've got our. I'm going to just try to do it with my hands, and I'm just going to close that link up. So that should now hang off there like so. So we've got our cross, our heart, and then down to our butterfly. I might actually later just take that extra link out, because with that length on the butterfly it is looking a little bit long. I'll amend that in a second, so when you see the photo I'll have done that. Okay, so then the very last thing to do is then to take our insert that we did, which is here. I'm just going to open that up into the middle and then just slide in that under. Now I have trimmed this down a little bit. I'm hoping it will be fine in there, but you just want it to be just slightly smaller than these edges, so you know, 2, 3, 4 notches off. I took about 4 notches off this end and then 2 notches off each of the bottom. Okay, so that's the finished thing. So we've got our lovely little charms with our green colours. We've got mum, we've got our information on here, obviously. I'll explain why I'm not doing that. You open that up and then it's like a little book inside. And then if they want to, my sister, oh sorry, let's just come over there, it stands on a mantelpiece if you want to look at it. Okay, so that's the video for today. Like I say, I'll just amend that, take that one link out. I knew I was gone wrong somewhere, but it's been a little while since I've done them. I am going to try and come back every other day like I was doing before. Next time I'll come back with hunky jewellery. They don't take a lot of thinking, those kits, to put together a nice card. That's the beauty of a hunky jewellery kit. They are for anybody of any skill level. You can literally just pick them up, plonk bits together, and it looks gorgeous. So and I have got quite a few hunky jewellery things. I've got the new members gift, but I don't think I'll play with that next time. I did get the bird kit. I think I would like to have a little play with that, but we'll see how I feel in a couple of days time. Like I say, I'm really sorry that I haven't been on. I just haven't been, well, I was busy with these for quite a while of it, to be fair, and then after the funeral we just had such a lot of things to sort out. I'm sorry for you know, anybody that this may have triggered. I know there are quite a few people that have lost people fairly recently, Diana for one, bless her. So I'm hoping that I haven't triggered you too much. But if you are in that position where you need to think about something like this for somebody you love, it's a lovely tribute and something a little bit out of the ordinary if you want something special. But anyway, until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate every one of you. Take care. Bye bye.